Folks, this situation almost always ends poorly. I'll explain what I mean and then get into the latest home prices and insights for the Peel and Durham region for week ending July the 2nd, 2025. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Last week on one of our shows, I spoke about mortgage brokers that were basically taking advantage of their clients' financial position. One thing that those mortgage brokers have in common is that they were referred by or insisted upon by their agents. So the agent said, you've got to use this mortgage broker. Now, a lot of brokerages or realtors and their teams will have services that they offer their clients. They will offer a mortgage broker. So they'll say, if you work with me, this is your mortgage broker, this is your home inspector, and this is your real estate lawyer. And a lot of clients are attracted to that actually because it's like, oh, I don't have to think of anything. They've got the mortgage broker, they got the home inspector, they got the real estate lawyer. I just hire this agent and all these people are at my service. I get the logic. I'd like to know how you feel about that. Please let me know in the comments below. How do you feel about working with a realtor or using the services that they're insisting upon you that is part of the package, they may say, or part of the service that they offer? I'll tell you how I feel. Although I get the logic what those realtors are doing, I don't do it that way. My system is different. I have a lot of experience working with mortgage brokers, home inspectors, real estate lawyers, and it's those ones, in my opinion, that have done a phenomenal job that I refer. But none of them work for me or with me. It's not an in-house service. I will refer a home inspector because I know they do a phenomenal job. But it's a separate business. The minute I introduce that home inspector to my client, that's the relationship now is between them. But I know the home inspector does a phenomenal job. And that's why I continue to refer them. There's no referral fee. There's no money that's traded between me and that home inspector. And the same applies to the real estate lawyer or the mortgage broker. I refer those services because they do a great job. And we can go beyond those services. You need a painter, you need a contractor. I have experience with ones that do terrible jobs. Naturally, I don't refer those. And I have experience with ones that do a great job. Those are the names I pass along. But again, they don't work for me or with me. They run their own businesses. So while many agents feel they need to be connected to the services they offer, I feel it's better to be disconnected and just refer names of people that I know do a great service. Let me know in the comments below your experiences with this and how you feel about it. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. And if you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. Now, let's get into the numbers. Folks, here we go. Peel and Durham. We're focused on detached properties for Mississauga, Brampton, and Durham. For Durham, I'm using Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby as my Durham sample. And when we look at, so Brampton, Durham, average sold price for detached properties, pretty much the same. You know, 1 week one's a little more, the other week the other one's a little more. But if we kind of take the midway point between those two average sold prices versus where the average sold price or what the average sold price is in Mississauga, this is the closest we've been in a long time. The difference in average sold price is 257,000. It's normally much more. We're going to start off with Mississauga. For week ending July the 2nd, 35 detached properties sold. 2 of those sold at $2 million or more. I put a star here because 2 is quite low. And when we look at the composition of sales, look, for some reason, this week, there was a lot of properties, detached properties sold in Mississauga at the lower end of the price point and fewer selling at $2 million or more. The average sold price came down to $1,311,000. Prior to that, average sold price has been trending upwards for several weeks, but this one week went totally the other way. This is why we don't base any decision on what happens in 1 week. We're looking for overall trends. Compared to last year, however, 1311 is 14% lower versus the same week a year ago. The median price of 1255 is 10% lower versus the same week a year ago. The dotted line, which is a 4-week moving average, makes it easier to spot a trend as it smoothens out the peaks and valleys. Well, average price and median price were trending up the last couple of weeks, maybe starting to go the other way now. 35 were sold. 10 of those, so 29%, sold at list price or more. Listings, we're seeing this across the board. We're seeing fewer listings these days. We're seeing active listings stop the climb up, and it's starting to turn the other way. It's not a huge drop. There's still lots and lots available properties for sale. And for Mississauga, only 3.6% of all detached properties actually sold. So 3.6% of all detached properties for sale. Months of inventory, sitting at 6.5 months of inventory, pretty much a buyer's market. Here's Brampton for week ending July the 2nd. 36 detached properties sold. No properties sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price continues its trend downward. We're now at $1,036,000. $1,036,000 is 7% lower than the same week a year ago. The median price of $1,063,000 is 6% lower. I was saying when I was looking at the average price, looks like it's trending downwards. It seems pretty clear to me. But the dotted line is showing more of it's more flat overall. When the average price, the 4-week moving average kind of balances out the peaks and valleys. 36 were sold. 7 of those, so 19%, sold at list price or more. Active listings starting to turn down. We're now at 1,406. We are seeing fewer listings every single week, but only 2.6% of all detached properties available sale in Brampton actually sold. Months of inventory shot way up there at 9 months of inventory. Here's Peel and Durham region, and I remind you that I'm using Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby as my Durham sample. For week ending July the 2nd, 44 detached properties sold. 1 sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price, it's $1,072,000, but trending downwards. Compared to last year, $1,072,000. It's a little bit higher, but it rounds off to a 0% change than the same week a year ago. The median price of $1,012,000 is 3.6% lower. Again, when I look at the average price, it looks like it's trending downward, but the 4-week moving average kind of shows it as a bit more flat. 44 were sold, 17 of those, so 39%, sold at list price or more. 6.3% of all available detached properties for sale actually sold, and 6.3% is one of the higher percentages of the GTA. And months of inventory sitting at 3.6. Here's a summary. You're going to experience a buyer's market. You're going to experience a balanced market. Price point, home type, neighborhood will determine what kind of market you experience. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.